Okay, in the last video, I said I'll see you guys in part 6. That was part 6. My bad. Doing this much talking is draining me. Yeah, that's what we'll say. Draining me. Um. Okay, so welcome back. We're in part 7 of Before Deciding on a Career Choice, and this is part of the Selves Management Series here on the Motorhomers channel. And I am your host, Predada S, beyond above the black director of the Illuminati. And the overt director. So I was closing off on, where I was saying someone who had a house or comes from money, gets a bus, and they decide to do the motorhoming thing because they want to change up their life for whatever reason. And this is something we admire and like, versus someone who goes and buys motorhomes and or buses or whatever and makes them into things like Airbnbs, because that takes away from people who need the buses or whatever, and brings it to someone as a business move, similar to like when people flip houses or buses or whatever. They buy them, they don't fix them up, and they raise the price. So a bus you couldn't get at auction, because somebody like them came and had the money to sit there and keep driving the price up from what used to be 800 to now 8,000, then buy it, and then you see it at some lot somewhere, and you might, not that you will, but say for instance you came into another couple of thousand, now you had 8,000. This guy just bought it off the auction 2 days ago or a day ago for 8,000. You see it on a lot, he ain't fixed nothing up, and he's selling it for 12, 15, 20. So you're like, like, what is that? Like, people, man, just come on. There's certain, you don't do that. If you can't understand why, even from listening to my previous videos, you're just wrong. Like, worst ways. I want to say a really bad word, but where nobody be like, oh, he said this, but so people be like, ooh, he called you this or said this. Shame on you, whatever you are. Anyway, so, the guy who is wealthy, he took it away from someone who needed it, who didn't have the money. But if he's going to be contributing, like, because he's going to be out there, he's going to be intermingling with people who don't have, who are trying to struggle. He's going to come to understand that. He's going to contribute into the lifestyle and help make it better for those people, and politically, so that, for the next person who comes along, some guy who's living in a box or whatever, just laying on the ground, living in their car, they can come along and it will be easier for them to get or have the financing, have grants, these are the things we're working on, slowly but surely, against all odds, against whatever, against impossibilities, many thereof, to make happen. So someone can just say, hey, listen, I don't want to live on the street anymore. I don't want to live in my car anymore. Somebody help me, please. And I can, be the person. They come by my channel or bump into them and like, listen, call this number. And in about a week from now, hope it's not a week, 2 days tops, a day and a half tops. Because you don't know, you're on the street, your whole life could just get destroyed inside of a couple of hours. It's like, he was about to get a place to live and this happened. Say like a day later, a day and a half later, you call that number, or you visit that website, or you go to this place, and you're rolling out of there in a bus that's already been converted, and because that's what I want to do too. I'm gonna convert them in a certain amount that I don't end up selling as my business to make my money in the lifestyle or whatever. I just give them away to someone who's homeless. And so if I can amass enough globally, then anyone in any country can contact me, or rather us, but I'll be the only one you end up talking to, except for someone else who I pull in under me, who they will be allowed to say they're in the Illuminati or whatever aspect of us they're coming in to, however that goes. Anyway, so I want to complete that sentence. Whatever organization of ours that they would be in, because you can't be in us. Okay, that just doesn't even sound right. You can't become a member of our organization of the Illuminati in this lifetime. That's for a whole nother bunch of sets and series of videos. But we have levels, which are different organizations that you pass through, and at a point you reach the organization, which is Illuminati. Again, I was born into it. There are people who joined it, but they didn't join it in this life. So that's a whole nother bunch of things. At any rate, but so somebody can come along and be like, hey, blah blah blah, I'm homeless and whatever, and then the next day, the next evening, whatever, however it goes, and we could get on a 24-hour turnover and less, or in the same day period turnover. Like someone's literally waking up on the street or in their car, they call the number, or go by the place, whatever, and then that evening they have a bus. It's all registered and insured. They have their license. If they didn't have a license, they have their license by then, like some kind of rushed thing, because we were able to do that politically. They have their license, and they have this bus, and they know, they have a map out and know, at least for the first couple of nights, places they can park, get water, get food, so they can rest and get food and whatever, and then work, and have a list of things they can do to work online or physically. So you get exercise and be out in the sun to get exercise your melanin. Everybody got melanin, right? So exercise your melanin. I want to be able to do that. The day I can do that, man, I think I'll just be walking around crying all day. I'll just be like, just walking around crying. They'd be like, what is wrong with that guy? I'd be like, yo, he's so happy. He's always happy. Why is he crying? He's so happy. He's so happy. He's in a perpetual state of tearful joy. There it is. Something like that. That would be me. I'm serious. I will feel like the man. If nobody even ever builds a statue, as long as they remember me like that, like, okay, this guy, yeah. They don't have to see a statue. Even if it's a statue with tears coming out. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. My bad, yo. I'm just trying to see the future so I can get to the future, right? So this guy, he gets a motorhome, right? Out there contributing, that's good. The guy, Airbnb, no good. Here's a thought I've had. I mean, it's something I would want to do, and don't bite off my stuff. And you'll see people will sit there and try to bite off of it in whatever way they want to do it. Because I'm not going to tell you exactly how I want to do it. I'm just giving you an idea. But if someone, buys buses and they turn them into motorhomes, and they say, okay, well, what I want to do is I'm going to find someone who has nowhere to live, some good person who wants to do some great things in the world, and I'm going to put it on my property, and I'm going to say, hey, here, you can stay here. No charge. Get your act together. You got water, you got solar, how we get the water thing going and make those arrangements. Water, solar, and then we exchange, like, whoever that person would be that they have lived there, do work, whatever type of work for them, or whatever, if they feel that that's what they need. Because, I mean, if I was in that situation, that's what I would want to do. But it must be noted, so that you're not taking advantage of someone, that, 2 to 4 hours a day, for someone in my position, 2 hours preferably, at most. 4 hours, okay. Definitely not 8 hours or 12 hours, none of that stuff, because you don't understand. It takes 10 to 15 times longer to do a normal thing. So our normal day, if we take 4 hours, 6-8 hours away from our normal day to have a job, we can't work again for like 2 or 3 more days, Because all the things you do in one night to prepare to go to work the next day, we can't do. Again, we take 20 videos to fully explain that. So now, but that would be fantastic, you know? I mean, it would be really nice to have a bunch of people contact me and say, listen, I bought buses already. I saw your video. I was, making them in Airbnbs. And I'm not trying to be funny when I say it like this, but if someone said, hey, listen, I watched and just heard you, I felt what you were saying, I really feel bad because I was just planning on just making some money. Now, some of you, you're doing it because you're figuring out a way to make money so you don't lose your house. I get it. But what you don't get is you're trying to keep up with, I don't want to say keep up with the Joneses, but you're trying to keep up with this system of screwing people over. That's what everything is going on. The prices, all this stuff, food, of everything, of medicine, of hospitalization, of insurance, everybody's just screwing everybody over. I can say that, right? And so it's making the world just horrible. And all you're really trying to do, you're trying to keep your house. Now, for some people, that might be a necessity for whatever reasons. But for some people, it's just like they got this house they shouldn't have had in the first place. Because most houses, nobody should have. We could go into that other videos another time, facilities and all this stuff I talk about that I want to be able to have because I do black ops and all that. But, you have this house and it's like, oh, you're paying this and you can't afford to pay it anymore for whatever reason. Now, if I put an Airbnb here, so buy a bus and put an Airbnb here. I mean, I don't care if you buy a tiny home. That's fine with me. Buy a tiny home. And I don't just say with me because making it, I got to get your permission. It's like that, but it's not like that. Here's what I mean. You get a tiny home. You go to Home Depot, buy one of those pre-constructed things, or you build up some little, what people call the house in the back, the thing where what do you call a house? Guest house? Yeah. Like a guest house, and you build that, fine. It's sitting there, it can't drive anywhere. It's just another house on the property, and you have someone come live there. That would be fantastic. But even if you don't and use it to have like a house where someone comes and lives and you can charge them some amount of money, I mean, you're trying to save your house, but you're perpetuating the whole, you shouldn't have the house in the first place. You wouldn't really understand that unless you lived in a motorhome or bus or whatever, or unless you were poor to begin with, or unless, you really saw life for what life really is, But so, with the buses or whatever, somebody said, hey, listen, I saw your video and I felt bad, like, from what my original intent was. It's like, me and my wife, we just wanted to, we were doing this one particular thing where we're making money, or these couple of things, and they're successful. We figured we jump into that. It sounds like a legitimate and interesting business opportunity. But it's not for business opportunity, just like child human trafficking. All that stuff is not a business opportunity. It's messed up. You don't do that. People go and make money at it, but you got to become a certain person up here, already be a certain person up here to do that stuff. And that's not the type of people that should exist. Seriously. Should not exist. People, I'm just reining it back. People who do stuff and try to make money hurting other people should not exist. So, but they're allowed to exist. I'm pulling back, I'm reining back. That's all a black, that's the black agent coming out, and I'm trying to fight it. Every video I do, that guy, that monster, wants to jump out, and I don't want to say rear its ugly head, but it wants to say what needs to be said, but you can't do that anymore. We're this society where stuff that needs to be said and done, the people who are like you, who are screwing up the world, don't want the people to say what you're doing, and don't want people to be aware of it, and they don't want you saying it to them. They don't want to hear it, that they shouldn't be doing it. That's the people who run the world. So if any of you were ever wondering why it's becoming illegal to say this, you get sued for saying that and all, it's because the people running the world, they're doing that stuff. And they don't want to face the ugliness. And they don't want people trying to build up against it, that ugliness, because they're making just so much money and having just a great time being. Okay, 14 minutes in, where were we at? All these things I say are important. It all has to do with your career choice. So where was I? So Yeah, you know what? Okay, right there. We're right there. So this guy, he's got it. He's like, oh, I got money and I got the bus. I'm hanging around these people that I don't haven't been around in a long time or never hung around or whatever the case is. That I just felt such a different way about it at one point. And I mean, listen, I don't want to take away from the fact that 99.9999% of the people in the world are just messed up and you don't need to be around them, which means everybody just needs to be off somewhere by themselves. Seriously, honestly, truly. But of 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 the pe- of these of the people in the world, there's a tiny percentage where they're making some effort, some form of effort in some aspects of their life or thinking or doing or whatever to be not completely horrible creatures. That's what I see. That's what I've observed. We as an organization have, and we even have meetings on it. So once we start having meetings on things, we know it's something with a relative amount of seriousness. More than one meetings. So now, so you know, you this guy is like, oh, you're out there and things are becoming, you see how things are going? Like you can go buy a bus and you can get it changed over from being a commercial vehicle to being a vehicle that you want to make into a bus, personal vehicle, commercial vehicle for personal use, and then after a certain time, get it changed to a motorhome. We want it so that when you buy it, you say, hey, listen, I want to make this a motorhome. Oh, okay. They register as a motorhome. Even though you haven't put all the stuff in it yet. It's intent. Intent is important. Intent can get you thrown into jail for life. It can ruin your relationship. You intended to sleep with my sister. You intended to sleep with my sister, but you did. But you wanted to. I'm getting a divorce, and that's gonna be what she divorced you in court over. He intended to sleep with my sister. I want half. I want the house. I want half the house. So he intended to kill that person. So you're going to jail. See, intent. So intent should be able to get you a motorhome from the door because the insurance is way less because they're lost their freaking minds over what they're charging for insurance and the fact that you have to have insurance and you can't drive without it. You own this thing you can't use because you aren't paying someone else to be able to, if something happens, your fault or someone else's for an act of God, do something thereafter, whatever that thereafter might be. And okay, you can't use it. You own it, but you can't use it because of that. And we're going to make up prices to pulling the reins back. That's my other thing. Little kid, Daddy, is he pulling the reins back? Yeah, he's pulling them back. Daddy, is he going to pull the reins back? I don't know if he's going to pull the reins back before the video ends. It looks like he's pretty upset. Boy. Okay, so with what? 2 minutes. Okay, so like I said, we're right there. So this guy, he's like, oh, I got, I'm out here, and he's making a Bob Wells video. I try to contact Bob Wells. They don't contact me back. I don't think they like me. I won't say well, I don't think they like me, but y'all know how I think. Now I was just thinking about that for a second. All that. I've reached out to so many people, man. Might have said in other videos and just being repetitive, but you don't know what I go through. You don't know what I've been through. And for me to be able to hear smile and joke and all this stuff is just really a lot of pain and hurt under that. And the tears want to come out wherever they can come out, whether it's joyful stuff or whatever, because there's just so much pain. And winter's coming up again too. Oh my God. Trying to work and work is sparse. Can't bathe the way I want to. Oh man, okay. Look at that. Another minute done passed by. Okay, so I guess we're going to be going into that part. Didn't I say it on the last video? So last one was what? This is 7. The last one was 6. So going into, this is 7. So going into 8, we'll be talking about what? I was going to say, you'll see in a Bob, can I say it that quick? You'll see in a Bob Wells video, the guy's like, yeah, I was rich. My wife and everything, she's passed away, God rest her soul. And so, I decided to come out here, and I'm just meeting some of the most incredible people And, you know, a lot of people I would have never hung out with before because I was racist. So, hold on. We're going to get back to this in the next video.